Hey guys, I'm Phil Harris.
And I'm Ashley Harris.
We are Shred MX Conditioning, and we provide online fitness and nutrition coaching, as well as in-person riding clinics for riders and racers from local to pro.
Now, we're racers ourselves, so we'll be talking about all things moto on this channel, from motocross, fitness and nutrition, injury, prevention and maintenance, local races, amateur nationals, pro events, current happenings in the sport, and everything in between. So whether you're on the road or in the garage, turn it up and enjoy.
This is Shred MX Shop Talk. Hey guys, welcome back. We got episode 21 coming at you here. It's been a little delay since the last time we've done one. Just been kind of a busy whirlwind of things with after regionals, getting down, doing the PAX camp, doing Loretta's and all that, and been back in Ohio, done some racing, and just recently finished up. It's Monday morning right now, so we just finished up the SVR D12 race, and they had the Pro 20-minute Money Moto this weekend, so it was a good time. And so we're going to give a little recap on the whole weekend.
Yeah, and SVR is Sandusky Valley Riders in Tiffin, Ohio. So pretty local to us. It was only about an hour and 15 minutes. So we actually decided their parking area is relatively small. So we decided just to take the van and van camp for the weekend, which is always kind of a fun experience in itself. Even though we live in our motorhome, it's always fun to get out in the van and camp too, just something a little different. But yeah, so we packed up our 35-gallon water barrel, filled that up, pressure washer, generator. We also invested in a little car fridge.
Yeah, like a little 12-volt fridge that you can plug into like a cigarette lighter, but you can also, it has a 110 plug on it as well. Yeah, we invested in that recently. We got one off of like
an Amazon return site.
Yeah, it was like a return site, but it's like an auction site where you can bid on them. Your stepmom found one for us, so she bid on it for us. We got a really, really good deal. We probably got it for like damn near half off.
Yeah, it was $80.
Yeah, we paid $80 for it, and it's been a lifesaver. If you guys have moto vans or anything like that, you don't have anything like this, or I feel like you could even use one off a small generator if you really wanted to, like out of a pickup truck or something. But they're amazing for like the long weekend. So our van's set up with a spare battery and everything in it, so we can run power like that all weekend without worrying about it. And we just get it cold here by the motorhome. We're at my dad's right now, so I have a little bit of power out of the garage, so I power it up, get it nice and cold down to like 36, 38 degrees somewhere in there, like a regular fridge. And then we swap it over, put it in the van, and we ran it all weekend, and it barely draws juice, stays right there at that like 38 degrees, and we had nice, cold food and drinks all weekend. It was awesome.
Yeah, for a long weekend like that, mainly pack it full of food, some drinks because we need more food. But that's always been the hardest thing for me when we're camping without the motorhome, is the lack of a fridge and keeping food cold and keeping ice on food, and then it gets all soggy
and everything's floating around by day 2. And
gross. So it's been super nice to have. So if you thought about one, you wondered if it was worth it, and you camp a lot, totally worth it. They're really cool.
And if you're looking at and wanting to know what that site is that we were talking about, the site that she uses, it's called OLA.
Yeah.
It's a bidding site. I believe it's an app or something that you have to download.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. We haven't really looked into it. She just did it for us. So if you're interested in that,
and it might be only in Ohio too.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure.
I know she said there's like 2 or 3 pickup locations. So you bid on it, and then if you win it, it tells you what location you have to pick it up. You go there. There's like a little QR code, I think it was, that she had them scan and to show that the order or whatever, and we picked it up and took it. And then like that day we sat in the parking lot for a minute, plugged it in, make sure it works. As long as everything works, if it doesn't like come on or anything at all, like a powered unit like that, she was saying that they'll let you return it, but outside of that, if everything works good, you're good to go and you roll out. So.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird experience when we went and picked it up, but it was cool. It was easy.
It was a little. The location we went to for the pickup was like a little chaotic. There was just like a flood of people the entire time we were there, coming in and out, getting their stuff. But yeah, it was really cool. So if you guys are interested in that, or just anything in general that you want to find a good deal on, I guess there's all kinds of stuff on that site. So
Yeah, you might get yourself in trouble, I have heard, which is why I
yeah,
haven't figured out how to use it myself
right.
yet.
Stay away.
So yeah, we took the van down. We left Friday night. Just kind of always running behind like we usually are. Had bike work to do, whatever stuff that took longer than we expected. So we had to run through a town that was on the way and stopped and got. I was out of food for Nellie. Stopped and
Yeah.
got her food, picked up pizza, and got there and camped Friday night. So we had a spot. It was fun. Nice little spot where we were facing the track. So
Yeah, it was good. We got in there about 7 o'clock or 7, 8 o'clock, I think.
yeah,
After I had to do some last minute bike work and a couple other things. And,
never ends.
no, and then it was pretty cool for that event. We haven't done a lot of their races throughout the year, like regular races, but I know every year for this event, for like the Money Moto and everything, they do Friday night like a live band there. And,
Yeah.
all that. So it was pretty cool, and so yeah, we hung out with some music a little bit, and then yeah, camped for the night, and then Saturday was open practice. They got 4 rounds in for us, so that was awesome
And
too.
a prep in the middle.
Yeah, that's right. They did even stop and prep a little bit.
And
Forgot about
Saturday, the track was sick. Like, it was prep deep. There was a lot of ruts in the corners. They were deep. They were, like, challenging enough to get through that you had to, like, be patient.
that. Yeah,
You weren't, like hammering through them. You had to be patient and get through them well. So that was super fun on Saturday.
yeah, it was really good. Like you were saying, there was a lot of options for lines, which that place doesn't always end up forming a lot of lines, so it was cool to see it form that way. Sunday was a little less, and I think that was just you get everyone out there in practice, and then that one line starts forming, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, I gotta go fast this morning because we're racing today." So
Yeah.
next thing you know, there's like 1 or 2 lines instead of like 6. But
Yeah.
it's still shaped up really good for both days.
Yeah, I agree. Saturday, though, I wanted to mention practice went super well until you hit a tire and ripped yourself off the back of your bike.
Yeah, so anyone that has race SVR, when you're down in the bottom, you come along like a long pass straightaway, you kind of go out towards the road essentially, and you sweep around. There's like over a hump, and then you do a right hander. Well, there's a big old tractor tire.
To mark the middle or
like,
the inside of the
yeah,
corner.
but it's not one of those like short, round, like big tractor tires. This thing was like a little more narrow, but really tall.
Yeah.
So yeah, I leaned into it, like was coming through there pretty aggressively, and I leaned into the corner really hard. As soon as I made the lean, I was like, uh-oh, because I knew that tire was right there. Somehow I caught it across the front portion of my bicep, and yeah, it ripped me straight off the back of the bike. Almost put my hand in the wheel as I fell onto the side of the bike because I like sat on my number plate. Got up, and I legit almost thought I tore my bicep off my arm.
Yeah.
It was hurting pretty bad.
It was the last practice round for you, and I'm like, I walked over to like the grandstand area to like watch, and you come around one lap, and then the next lap, all the dudes that you were riding with came around and no fill, and I'm like, oh, maybe he tipped over, and then it took forever, and I'm like, oh no, maybe he more than tipped over. So I started to worry, and then you finally started riding up there, and you were like all like, you know, chicken wing arm, like I'm like, oh no, what happened? And
Yeah.
it looked pretty bad. It was like swollen to about twice its size.
Yeah, it looked like I had sat there and just done reps of curls on one arm. I had like the biggest bicep.
Yeah, one arm swole.
Yeah, they had a shower there they let us use, and I got in the shower, and it had been like a few hours later, and I didn't think about it. I like looked over at my arm, and it was like triple the size, and I just started dying laughing. It looked so funny. Looked like I had a water balloon in my arm.
Yeah, it was a little swollen. I got you
Yeah.
some Tylenol though, got it all ready to go for Sunday.
Yeah, it's still sore today, and it was real sore yesterday. Yeah, I used a little Tylenol and a deep blue stick, which is kind of like icy hot, and tried to loosen up. It just feels like it has a massive knot in the middle of the arm.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
So that was fun, you know. You always gotta. Day's going good, so something's gotta happen.
Usually.
No, just a fluke deal, and it was really my fault. I knew I knew I was hitting it, honestly.
Yeah. At one point in time, was it in practice that I lost my number plate?
That was Sunday morning practice.
Was it? I thought it was Saturday.
Was it Saturday?
I think it was Saturday.
It was Saturday because we were walking up there to sign up, and the guy had it and gave it to me.
Yeah, so I was riding, and I got done riding the one session and came back and put my bike on the stand, and I went to pick it up, and I'm like, that feels weird, and I looked down because it was on the exhaust side where I grabbed my bike to pick it up on the stand, And I had no number plate, so it was just like exhaust wide open. I'm like, when the hell did that happen?
I didn't even see it. Yeah, you get back, you're like, my number plate's gone. I'm like, okay.
And I don't carry spare number
No.
plates. Like the bolt just fell out, so the number plate fell off, which is hilarious. But it was over by the triple. Someone found it and brought it back.
Yeah, we got it back. No big deal.
Yeah, so that happened. So then Sunday racing, lots of motos. We signed up for plus 30 together.
Yeah.
Because they pay the vet classes, which is cool. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to win plus 30, but if I can put my money in the pot so you make more money when you hopefully win or get, top position, then why not? So I did. So that we raced 30 plus together.
Which we usually don't. Usually you'll run 30 and anymore now that you're able to run 30, I'll usually drop back and run 25 so you don't have to deal with all of us in there, but
and that's because 25 is still, like, 30 is also a fast class, but 25 is even
pretty
faster.
much like an A class.
Because a lot of those guys are still under 30, so I put you in that class.
Yeah.
And I'll run 30 with, like, some of the guys that maybe I can keep up with.
But like you were saying, it's nice at SVR because they pay the vet classes. They don't consider 25 a vet. They still consider that like a junior class. So they don't pay that one, so that's why we both shuffled into, or I shuffled into 30 to race that. So yeah, we rode 30 together, and then I signed up for Open A, and then they did a 20-minute pro moto.
Yeah, 20-minute plus 2.
Yeah, 20 minutes plus 2.
It was a long race,
Yeah.
but that was, so 30 ended up being Moto 4. Your 20-minute plus 2 Money Moto, which was for the big cash, was Moto 6. Open A ended up being Moto 9. And then I signed up for women's as well, which was Moto 16. So I had a little bit of a gap, but you were like back to back to back.
Stacked. So I pretty much like race 30, come off the track, was on the gate for the Money Moto, and then race that, and then got off track and was in staging for Open Pro.
Yeah, so really test the endurance there.
Yeah, I felt really good this year though. Rode really well and stuff, and did have good endurance. But back it up, we'll start off with Moto 1, Vet 30.
Yeah, Moto 4.
Or Moto 4, should say.
Our first Moto.
Our first one, yeah. So, yeah, we both went up for Vet 30. Got a good start, and for me, I just got out front and tried to get a little gap quick, and then just kind of ride it out. I didn't want to use too much energy if that was possible, if I didn't have to push too hard. So that was nice. I got to ride around and check out some lines, so I was kind of prepared for the Pro Moto. But about 2 or so laps into the Moto, so funny story, the day before, I'm going to back it up. The day before, I had come off the track one time, and I thought I was getting stung in the leg, on like inside my boot. And I like tore like my knee pads off, my leggings, like everything. I didn't have any marks on me. So I don't know if some dirt was in there pushing on me funny or what, but it felt like someone was stinging me. So now fast forward to Sunday, I am racing my first 30 moto, and I'm like 2 laps into this thing, and I feel something hit me in the wrist, essentially. I don't really feel it hit me, but it feels like something starts stinging me in the wrist. And I'm like going, and I'm like, there's no way, I'm just thinking it again. And it's getting it started to get like worse almost. So I thought something was in my sleeve. So on one of the back straightaways, I slowed down, reached over with my left hand because it hit me in the right hand. And I'm like brushing my arm off, hoping that's like not in my shirt or something. So yeah, I get done with the moto. My wrist had like a little like bump on it. I was worried it was gonna swell up.
Yeah, you definitely got stung that time.
So I legit got stung in the middle of a moto. So that was interesting.
Yeah, I was worried. I told you too, I didn't say anything, but I was worried, like, when I get stung, I swell really bad. I have, like, some weird allergic reaction to bugs. I was worried that your wrist was going to swell so bad you weren't really going to be able to bend it. I'm like, just don't say anything and it won't happen. Just don't say anything and it won't happen. But it was fine.
Yeah. I was trying to, like, ignore it a little bit, too, because it seems like it hit me, like, I mean, you got a lot of nerves around your wrist, so it seems like it hit me in one of those, because, like, the bottom portion of my hand, like, I had, like, a little red lump. And then, like, the bottom portion of my hand started feeling, like, a little bit tingly. And I'm like, come on. Like, I don't want to have no grip strength for this 20-minute moto. It's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
But it was okay, so.
Yeah.
It didn't swell up too bad. And then once the gate dropped, adrenaline took over, so.
Yeah. My 30-plus first moto was not so eventful. I little timid off the gate. So I actually thought there was only about like 4 of us, and when the gate dropped, probably about 8 to 10 of us took off, and I was like, and almost like surprised me, but I just, not in like a bad way, but just like, oh shit, kind of. So when I got down to the first turn, I was a little more timid than I wanted to be, but kind of tailed the back of the pack, but wanted to be a little bit closer. So I actually finished in sixth the first moto.
Yeah.
You won.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone asked me later, like, oh, did you win any money in 30? Like, no, Phil races that class too. Of course I didn't win any money in that class. Like, I'm just trying to keep up and have someone to race with.
Right.
So yeah, that was fine. And then we turned right around and got you back up there for,
The pro moto.
yep, the Money Moto.
Yeah, the 20-minute Money Moto. Yeah, lined up and was hoping
So they put a pot together of money for the overall, but they also started collecting money
for the whole shot.
Yeah.
So I got up there and I was like, I wasn't thinking too much about it because like actually in the Vet 30 start, I had like pretty much like spun off the gate and felt like I went nowhere. Excuse me. A lot of dust yesterday at the end of the day. Anyways, so I spun pretty bad in 30, so I was like up there and I wasn't thinking too hard on it, but I'm like, let's try to get a good start. And I rocket shipped out of the gate. So we're like going into the first turn and Cameron Gooding was there racing and he's local to that area and he comes shooting into the first turn and he just like snuck in front of me and I'm like, dang it, and he like drove it a little bit, just a little bit wide. So I like snuck around the inside. There was like a little bit of a pushed up berm. I got into it and just gave it a handful. And as you exit the corner, there's like a little like almost like a little single you drop off of. Well, right at the end of that is they had 2 white stakes. That was a hole shot line. So I'm just hammering, and Cam is trying to hammer next to me, and he like is half in a wheelie, and as we cross the stake, I could see the front end of his bike and front wheel like almost like by my head. He's like wheeling through there, and I got it by like half a tire. There was a video of it because he was like, he's like, I thought I got it, and I was like, no, I think I did, and then someone had actually videoed it from the side, and it was like half a wheel I got him by. It was close. It was pretty good, but. So yeah, I got the whole shot to start, so I was like sick,
The pot for that ended up getting up to $350.
Yeah,
so that was already
super
cool.
stoked on that. And then got out front and got the whole shot, and I was like, stoked. I'm out front, and I was like, okay, I gotta go. So for the first few laps, I ran, had a little gap on those guys. I think I led for about 5.
I think you led for about half.
Okay.
Maybe 8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think Tony had got me right before he seen the 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I led close to halfway. So I'd say about 5 or 6 laps, because we did quite a few laps for that moto. But so yeah, catch my track of thought here. So yeah, leading for about 5 or 6 laps. Tony was starting to gain. Usko was starting to gain on me a little bit. And I was trying not to let him like get in my head a little bit and like let him gain too much, but he slowly started creeping on me. I made a couple mistakes and he was like right there on me, and I didn't try to like open the door, but I kind of knew if he got through in front of me that I was just like, okay, we're gonna use him as a carrot and kind of keep dragging me. So he did sneak by me, and instead of letting it fluster me like, oh man, I just lost the lead, I was like, okay, let's just tie onto him and like keep going. So I did that for about a couple laps, and then Chris Blackmere, he's a younger kid from up in Michigan, real quick. He had gone down in the beginning. He was coming through pretty quick, and he slowly reeled his way up to me. Same thing, he got up to me, and I was trying to hold him at bay. He snuck around me on a corner. I kind of bobbled in, trying a different line because they were starting to get beat up as we got deep into that moto. And he snuck around me, did the same thing. I'm like, okay, focus forward, just try to clip onto his tire and drag me along. So I did that, and got pretty deep into the moto. I somehow calculated it correctly in my head. The one time I come through the finish, I'm like, man, I feel like we have like 5 laps left of this. And it did as we counted down and then got through. Dude showed me 2 laps, but yeah, I kept it pretty close. They pulled away from me a little bit, but I could see in the woods the way you do this little like step down thing to your left. You could glance at the peripheral and see the corner, like a couple corners before that. So I could see like 4th place, and I was like keeping them at bay. So I was like, all right, let's just be smooth, hit solid lines, flow around as best as possible, make as little mistakes, and let's just try to keep at least the gap, not from like shrinking anymore. So I was able to keep it at bay on fourth, and I actually caught those guys a little bit at the end too. So that was kind of cool. I could see Tony just in front of me. Felt good about that. Yeah, put in a solid moto and was able to come through for third. So got a nice payday for that, third and the whole shot as well. So
Yeah.
I was super stoked on that. We did an interview and everything, and then it was hurry up and regroup time because we had to go back up for Open A.
Yeah, right after. So I came up and snagged your bike and put gas in it while you're doing an interview, and then rode back up to the line together so you could re-rack.
Yeah, thankfully they kind of realized that a bunch of us had raced that and were racing Open A, so they did some minor little track work to try to give us an extra like 5 or 10 minutes, just a little cool down, and then take back off. And I ain't gonna lie, we got up to that moto and I was feeling okay, but I was feeling a little gassed, a little tired, not terrible. So I'm like, all right, just try to regroup and do it again. And so we took off for the first moto of Open A. Trying to think. The first moto.
I think you actually got like not a good start.
No, that was the second moto. The first moto, I think I got an alright start. I'm trying to remember now. Because I think Tony led a bunch of the first moto, didn't he?
No, that was the second moto. He fell in the first moto and had to come
that's
back.
right. I got like an alright start, and it was that Chris Blackmere was right in front of me, and then Jack was right in front of me. I kind of got shuffled in behind them. The first like lap or so, me and Gooding had like a little back and forth, and then he had went down right behind me. So I had a little gap, and then I had those two in front of me, and I just couldn't. I could see them the whole time, but I couldn't quite like get back to them to like make anything happen. I didn't have like enough push, but rode it out, rode a solid race, and got third for that first moto. So I was feeling pretty stoked so far on the day. 1 in 30, 3 in the open moto, and 3 in Open A for that class. So it was a good first set of motos, and then we had a little rest, and then you came up for women's late in the schedule,
which was Moto 16. There's Moto 20s or 20 motos, so we were almost at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But it was actually nice because, like you said, we got a little bit of a break. I had to run up there and help my dad and Kelly, my dad and my stepmom, were there racing too, and they were Moto 12 together on the gate. So I had to come back after helping you on the line for 9. I came back and ran back up there to help them because we always end up needing help. All of us do.
Yeah.
So I go up there and help them set their whole shot devices and stuff. Come back, rest for a little bit, and then go back up there. That's how race days are for us, though. And, like, we've brought people to the track with us before, and I feel bad because, like, we're never at the van. Like, we're not really available to chat with. Like, that's race day.
A little bit.
Right. Like, that's race day for us. We're running around with our chicken, like a chicken with our head cut off. It's just, it's busy.
I know, and your women's moto, I had all 3 of you guys. I had you, Kelly, and your dad.
Yeah, because they
whole shot devices.
Right, they put women's with plus 40, which is what my dad was racing. Kelly was racing women's, so that it always happens. It honestly makes for a fun day. But yeah, so the women's moto, I lined up to the right of the box, and the first turn is a left turn. And usually, like, if I know there's any girls that are good starters on the line, I'll line up inside of them so I can get to the turn and make the turn underneath of them. Well, I didn't really know any of the girls there. We don't ever race that series. So I lined up to the right of the box and got down there, and there was one girl, she was young, like 13, which is funny that we found that out because I'm 31, she was 13, on a 125. But she got down to the first turn and just kept going straight. And I'm on the outside of her trying to check up and cut down under her. At the same time, she's starting to slow down. So anyways, I got pushed out on the first turn. Kelly almost snuck in around the inside of us because we were so far out in the first turn. So now I'm really frustrated. She ended up getting the start, though. This other girl, I don't even know her name.
I'm not sure.
Me either. She was nice, but so she got the start, and that track is actually difficult to pass on, especially on Sunday, because Saturday there was a lot of lines and you could use the other lines.
Yeah.
Sunday, the main line was really good, but any of the other lines were
It was hard to get out of it.
yeah, if you're on the outside of the corner, it's smooth, but there's nothing to grab the bike and hold on to. If you're in the middle, the ruts were just kind of like choppy and bumpy and like not fluid, so they were really hard to be fast in. So I was doing everything I can for 4 laps to get around her, and she's riding from one side of the track to the other, taking all the insides, blocking, which is, I mean, if you're racing, that's kind of what you're supposed to do. But it gets frustrating because like I keep catching her, and then I would take a different line in a corner trying to get around her and lose a little bit of time because I'm messing up the corner. So like it was a constant struggle. She came over on me in leading up to a couple of jumps, which is also frustrating. But again, it all comes back to like I can be frustrated in the moment, and I was after the race because I ended up getting stuck behind her. Got second the first moto, not a big deal, but I could tell I was faster than her, and I just couldn't make a move around her. So that's what was frustrating. So initially, I'm just frustrated about the whole thing, but it ultimately came down to, and we talked about this, I needed to make something happen somewhere. If I can't do it around the outsides, it's going to have to be a little bit more of a forced move on the inside. Like, sorry, but I got to go. I tend to be a little bit too nice when we're racing. And I mean, I don't ever want to hit anyone and take them out, but if I need to make a pass on you because I'm faster, I need to shove it in there and make the pass. So I'm kind of working on that a little bit too. So I got second the first moto, just frustrated kind of about how I just got caught up behind someone that I'm faster than. So I didn't get to ride like myself. So we talked about that heatedly because if I'm heated, you get heated. So
Yeah, I'm bad for feeding off energy.
So
Good or bad.
yeah. So we talked through that though, got that calmed down, and then there was a little bit of an intermission, and then yeah, right back into second motos.
Yeah, I had a little break for second motos because I was 4 and 9 instead of 4, 6 and 9.
Yeah, so they only actually did one Money Moto.
Yeah,
so
they just do one 20-minute Money Moto there for that event. So, which is nice, like I said, for the second motos because then I had a little gap.
yeah.
Would have definitely ran a second 20 moto, but
Yeah.
they only run one for that.
The one thing that I wanted to point out too, so after your open A moto, when you were feeling drained, and this is something that could help other riders too, you had that like drained feeling, and the first thing when you came back is I started feeding you sugar. Not like just spoonfuls of sugar, but
No.
like a body armor that had 29 grams of sugar in
Yeah.
it. Another good option for people that has sugar in it is like a sweet tea.
Yeah.
We like Milos. They have like 44 grams of sugar. So like when you're that depleted after expending that much energy like you did in all of your motos, you have to get some sugar back in your body to like liven you back up. Like
Yeah.
that's your energy source. So especially on a long moto like that.
Yeah, I had some body armor. I think I had a little bit of fruit too.
Yep. You said
That's
pineapple.
also some good sugars too. So, yeah, if you guys are in that position, you're feeling a little drained, try to get in some good quick sugar, but good quality quick sugar. You know, like you said, you're not over there just spoon feeding yourself sugar. Like
Or like pixie sticks or something.
like you don't want garbage. Like you want something cleaner, like a body armor, a sweet tea. You know, like, and make sure that it doesn't have a bunch of ingredients. It's just like brewed sweet tea and cane sugar.
So that's
Like we drink a lot of the Milo's tea, and that's what it is. It's just brewed tea and sugar, and super tasty. But yeah, it can give you a quick little boost on those race days. But too, you know, like we had a little bit of time. I tried to eat some stuff, but you know, if you have time, you know, when you put in those quick sugars, make sure to try to get some food on top of it too, just for like your prolonged energy.
yes, that's what I was going to point
Yeah.
out. So your quick sugar to kind of replenish and wake
Yeah,
yourself back
that's-
up essentially.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. Is like that quick sugar for me. Like over the weekend, it like you even said it. You ran up to watch your dad and Kelly and helped them on the gate, and by the time you walked back after they took off, I was already like way more lively. So yeah, it was just like that little snap back kind of feel back to normal, not so like I'm about to lay down and go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you don't follow that type of quick sugar up, like sugar and tea is liquid, so it's going to burn up quickly. If you don't follow it up with something of a little bit more substance, you'll crash. You'll have an energy crash. So that's
Yeah.
why you do the quick sugar first to liven you back up, something with a little bit more substance to prolong your energy throughout the day. And then, keep snacking whenever you can. But
Yeah.
that's a really easy way to bring back some energy very quickly is some really, like, just good cane sugar in a drink or something.
Yeah. Yep. So I did the old body armor, a little bit of fruit, and then just to have a little bit of heavier substance. I didn't want to go full sandwich. I just wasn't feeling it. But I knew I had to put something down. I'm real big on the Mana bars from Rhino Power. You like the fruit ones. I actually really like the chocolate peanut butter ones. I will say, if you've never had one, you go to try it after listening to this. The peanut butter chocolate ones are, I don't want to say they're like super proteiny tasting because they're not like like a Gatorade bar or something like that. But they do have a little bit of that taste because they have protein and stuff in them. But they're really tasty to me, and it's just something good on the stomach that doesn't burn up super quickly. So I had one of those as well on top of it, and yeah, I was feeling pretty good for second motos.
Yeah, on the flip side of that one, the fruit ones, I think they're like acai berry.
Yeah, I think so.
I never know how to say that word, so if it's wrong, you can correct me or laugh at me. I don't care. Those ones are a little bit more just like fruit bar flavored, so I like those ones because they don't. It's not that the chocolate peanut butter ones have, like you said, they're not like overly protein tasting, but they're very, I would call it like thick tasting.
Yeah.
The fruit ones are a little bit lighter, so I prefer those. But yeah, so they're both very good if you are trying to decide between the two. And
it's very similar if you guys have ever had like a Cliff Bar or something.
Yes.
It's real similar to that.
Yeah.
Like as far as like, yeah, the thickness of it and stuff. But I don't know. I like them a lot, and they sit well on the stomach. So.
And it's easy to eat when you're not feeling like a whole sandwich.
Yeah.
So that was during intermission. Re-rack, everything, get ready to go. So now we were going to be Moto 4 together. You were Moto 6 because of the Money Moto. So then you were Moto 9, and then again for 16. So back to Moto 4, the plus 30.
Yeah. So, excuse me. Loop back around to second sets of motos. Yeah, roll up there for Moto 4 for our second Moto 30. Same thing. I just got a good start. We actually got the lineup next to each other, and I thought it was funny that you made a comment later in the day when we were rolling home last night. You're like, it was so cool, like starting next to you. Like you have before, but just like you were saying, it's cool because like I rock it off the gate pretty hard. So I don't know, it was cool to hear that. Well, yeah, we lined up together, and
I was honestly hoping lining up next to you that I could like tuck in behind you because I knew I wouldn't be able to out jump you or out pull you down that. You're on a 450, I'm on a 250, but it did kind of work. Like I kind of funneled in behind you. There was a nice little line there, and I just came around the first turn real well.
There you go. So yeah, I got a decent jump, got the whole shot in that one, and just kind of took off and had fun. Rode around. Track was getting pretty dry and hard. Some of the lines were getting pretty like baked in there, so it was getting like edgy and everything. So I just kind of rode around. Didn't feel the most comfortable, but I had a gap, so I didn't have to ride too hard in the 30. So I ended up winning that second moto. That was nice, and then had a little break, and then what'd you end up in that second moto? You got seventh.
Yeah, but I will say I was tailing around behind a guy that I was a little bit farther off of the first moto. So they cut the laps, second set of motos from 4 to 3. So I was tailing around like a little bit closer to him, and I think if I would have had another lap, I could have passed him. So I felt like that was good progress. Just being able to stay up a little bit more. But right off the start, so I kind of tucked in and followed you through. But you like make the left-hand turn off the start, a little roller, and then there's kind of like a wall that you jump off of. Well, I was trying to like push to stay up in there and like be like middle of the pack right off the start, but there was a couple of sketchy moments right there that I almost had my front end taken out, so I kind of ended up having to check up a little bit and probably came around like turn 2 and 3 like last. So now I'm just like, my goal is like to stay tailing them, stay as close as I can, and capitalize if anyone makes a mistake. Like it kind of makes me keep pushing, to stay as close as I can. So that was really just my goal for the 30 plus, and that's something that I'm working on to be like more competitive in those classes and shove it up in there. So it's different everywhere we go with the 30 plus class or even like 250B, whether I'm going to be in the meat of the pack and battling or if I'm just battling at the back. It doesn't matter. As long as I'm not riding by myself, I'm cool. And that's how it was. So just chasing people around and trying to stay as close as I could, have that carrot to chase. So I think I went 6-7.
Yeah.
So
I think it was like 6th or 7th overall.
yeah. So not like great finishes for me, but overall like kind of what I'm working on. So
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
No, I'm making progress. So like you were saying in those 30 classes, I remember even when you would ride 25 or even when you first got in 30 when we raced around here, like Malvern and stuff was still open. You'd line all the way up on the outside of the gate and you just like you would take off, but like you wouldn't really shove it in there, and then you'd ride around and usually at kind of the tail end of the class. And now like it's cool, like when I do get to watch you race those classes, like you're actually pushing up in there and giving some of those guys a hard time and everything.
I try to.
Yeah.
I try to. Sometimes I worry because I'm small that if I get bumped, I'm going to be the one that goes down. But I think it more comes down to how squared up on the bike I am. And if I'm going faster, they're going to go down. And so just reminding myself of that constantly, like all of these things that you're telling me, like be aggressive, be confident, put it in there. So
Yeah.
I'm working on that still.
So yeah, after that moto, we had a little break.
Mm-hmm.
And we were actually all hanging out because we didn't have that Money Moto, and Tony Usko was parked with us and stuff, and we're all hanging out, and then we were like not thinking about it because that moto was pulled out of there, so
And laps were shortened.
Yeah, so we're like sitting there, and then like Tony's like, I think we're in staging. I'm like, no, are we? And he's like, we're like thinking about, we're like, oh crap, we are. So we all hurry up and got our stuff and ran up there to staging and got lined up for the second pro moto. And I got a horrid jump off the gate, spun real bad. I didn't spin. I wheelied on that one. I don't know what I did, but it's like the gate dropped, I pinned it, and it's like I let my shoulders rock back, which I know better than to do, and wheelied off of it. Not terribly, but enough that, I didn't drive forward as everyone else was. Dropped the front end, come into the first turn. Me and one dude clipped. I thought I was killing Tony, and like me, the dude I'm hooked up with, and Tony, I thought like 3 or 4 of us were going down. I'm hard on the brakes, swapping back and forth, and didn't hit Tony. Somehow kept it upright, made the corner, was like half leaning on dude next to me still on the cowie, stood it back up, and I'm like, oh, we're all going straight still, sweet. So we all stayed up in the first corner. I had to make a couple quick first minute passes at the beginning. I got my way up into third. Tried to like get back up to those guys. I did catch back up a little bit. I could see like Tony was like a little ways out in front of us, and then Chris was right in front of me, Black Mirror. So I was trying to tail him pretty good, and I was clipping along with him, and then Jack Winland was right behind me. He was pushing on me too. So we had a good little freight train, and we kind of slowly like did creep back up on Tony a little bit. And then I started to lose tail off of Chris just a little bit, but me and Jack were battling around. And then I think we got like the white flag because they had cut us as well. We only ran 4. We got the white flag and come around. Tony's laying on the ground.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. So I like snuck around him, and then
he was leading the whole
yeah,
moto.
He led the whole
and
moto.
Put himself down on the last lap.
Yeah. So I was like, dang it. I was like kind of stoked because I knew I had like shuffled up a spot, but I felt bad for him because he had been riding good too all weekend. And so I was like, all right, I'm in second. I'm like, I got to make this last lap. Like, I got to make it happen. So it was a good race. We were tight all the way through like the bottom. And I kind of know at that track, it's a little bit narrower, like when you come out of the wood section up to the top portion of the track. So I like knew if I could kind of like hit my marks, like I should be okay. But when you jump up out of the woods there's a S section. You can go inside outside or outside inside, and the primary line that we always usually run is inside outside. So we were all running that, but as you exit outside, it was pretty choppy and crappy. Jack actually started running the outside inside line, and right before we got the white flag, he like didn't quite sneak up next to me, but then there's like that section after that you come into, it's like a double, like a camel hump triple thing. It's pretty good size. Land off that, you go straight. There's like a double. You can either do the small little double and go around the outside of a hump, or you go inside and you go double over a roller, and then there's it turns a little bit more right and you hit like a step up finish line. So we come through that S, and he didn't get quite next to me, like coming into the white flag, and he tried to make like a run around the outside of me, going into the finish line, and I like it was able to like just pinch him off, even though I got a little bit. There was like an inside rut, so as you like kind of crested off the single, you could catch this rut. I got onto the top edge of it a little bit, and I'm like, oh, but I still was able to like hold him off. So yeah, go back into that last lap. I'm like, all right, get through the bottom section good, clean, get up to the top. I'm like, all right, gotta finish these last few corners clean.
You guys were close
Yeah,
too, like real close.
Yeah, real close. So we get in that X session. Well, as we exit it, he had done the outside inside. Well, he must have like hit it really clean, and as we exit and hit the little double, he's like next to me, almost next to me. So we hit the triple. I tried to like soak it up good, land off that and drive off. And I knew what he was going to do is he was going to drive hard into that little double, jump it, and just rail the crap out of the outside. So I ran it hard up in there, jumped the double, kind of like didn't really check up too much for the single, kind of like lobbed off of the little inside single and just leaned my bike into and landed into the inside rut, and just with a handful of gas and narrowly like cut him off for the finish line.
Shut the door.
Yeah, I shut the door big time. I wasn't 100% sure that we weren't hitting each other, and I was going to feel terrible if we did, but I wanted that second place so bad. I had held it on that long. I'm like, I'm not giving it up. So.
Well, that's one thing that you talked about immediately. Like, oh, I kind of feel bad. I was like, yeah, but that's racing, and like, if the roles were reversed,
yeah, it would have happened to me.
Yeah,
so.
and then someone would have been like, hey man, like didn't mean to like,
yeah.
If you would have hit even, didn't mean to bump you, and that's happened to you. Like you've been bumped, and then they've been like, by friends of yours. And, like that's racing, unfortunately. Like you saw him coming, you shut the door. The checkered flag was right there.
Yeah. So I made it happen, so it was awesome. So yeah, I ended up getting to go 3-2 for second overall in Open A. So
yeah,
it was a solid weekend for me. So yeah, first and 30, second Open A, and third in the Money Moto
with the holeshot.
Yeah, so made a good stack of cash this weekend. So
yeah, super
stoked on that, and riding in general, just feeling really good on the Yamaha. I've had a lot of questions about it, and I'm getting about. I think I'm creeping on about a 20-hour mark on it, so I have a good amount of riding on it, and feeling really, really comfy on it now, and so I'm stoked on that.
Yeah.
Kind of having that Honda comfort.
Yeah, getting it back.
Yeah.
Well, we still had the last women's moto.
Yep. We had that nice little break, and then, you're
back up there. Moto. So I lined up, and I was talking to one of our friends, different Tony, and I was talking to him about like how I'm just not aggressive enough, and he was actually talking to me too. He's like, yeah, he's like, I get that. I'm the same way. He's like, I don't really want to fall down. So like in my mind, sometimes I'd rather take a second than fall down. And I was like, that's kind of how I feel too. But at some point in time, you got to take the risk to try to get first. I would rather get second because I fell down than get second because I rode around behind someone and wouldn't, make a move.
Right.
So I was like, one of the benefits of getting second, though, is I'll see where she lines up on the gate, and I can line up inside of her. That way, if she's going to go deep in the first turn, I can make that first turn well. Like, I can hold the gas on and make the first turn and not push out. So anyways, that's exactly what happened. She lined up. I lined up just inside of her, and I knew, like, we were way inside.
Yeah.
Like the first turn turns left. I almost had to go right a little bit and then left, and I knew that. But I'm like, you got to get a jump and you got to drive, or she's going to pinch you off down there. So I did. That was like my main focus. I'm like, so you either have to get out and get in front of her, or you're going to have to move her to pass her. That's the only options, because the way the track formed, she's just riding from one side of the track to the other, which again, that's racing. I just needed to make a move. Yep. So drove off the line while I wheelied a little bit, but she was on a 125 and I'm on a 250F, so I kind of knew like if I just stayed on the gas, I'd be fine.
Yeah.
She had a fancy head on that thing though. Did you see it? The head on her 125 was like a anodized blue. So I'm like, I don't know. Anyways, it was
aftermarket head.
Beautiful motor. I'm like, I don't know what she's got done to that thing, but I'm still on a 250F. So
it sounded crispy. I'm sure it had a little bit of polish and stuff.
I'm like, I could still outpull her. Or just out chicken her in the first turn. Who's gonna shut down first? So anyways, I did get down there first, made the turn super clean, got on the gas, pulled the whole shot, that moto. So I was like, okay, now you just gotta go. Like protect the insides because you know that's where she's going to go. That's where she went the whole first moto,
Yep.
and get him clean. So then I just started like picking away and kind of pulling away from her a little bit. Kelly, my stepmom, was behind us on the start, and she said that she could see her trying to check up and tuck underneath me in the first turn still.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm glad that like I made the first turn so clean that she couldn't do that. Like again, it was actually a really nice little like berm down in there you could use, so it worked out well. But yeah, then I just focused on, doing what I needed to do. Almost died on the first lap. There's a section where you come, it's like a straightaway into a sweeping right-hand corner, but there was a bunch of ruts. Well, to line up for the ruts, I was towards the right side of the track, and it's really choppy over there. Well, my weight was probably too far forward, setting up for the corner too early. So the bars started swapping, bad enough that the back end started like swapping also. So I'm coming into these ruts, the whole bike is all over the place, and I'm like, we're either going to hit these ruts and sit down in it and go, or I'm going to die. So I set it down in one and just kind of got on the gas and pulled it out, pulled it through the rut. So that worked, and then just kind of picked away at it. There was a couple of jumps that that girl was doing that I wasn't. I kind of told you, like, I know I can do them, but the face of the one was getting kind of chewed up, and the other one is a super blind, coming up out of the bottom. It's this really long face for this tabletop that's not super long. It's not a big tabletop, but you're landing it and then cornering, and it's really hard to judge.
It is weird to judge.
So I just wasn't super comfortable with it. And I was like, if I can't make up my time in corners and elsewhere, and it's those two jumps where she's getting me, like, that's my own damn fault. So I wanted to do them, didn't ever end up doing them, but still kept, just kind of picking away. And I think if I would have done them, it would have been a little bit bigger of a lead. But wasn't so much, again, that I needed to win to make myself feel good, but I wanted to ride my lines and ride like I know how, and not ride behind her. And one of the things that you kind of pointed out was, okay, so first moto, she kept cutting from one side of the track to the other. So now I'm so focused on what she's doing because, for one, she almost took us out a couple times leading up to jumps, which is scary. But now I'm so worried about her, I'm not doing me anymore. I'm like so worried about where she's going to be and like pinching me off and stuff. I'm just riding behind her.
Right.
So that's frustrating for me. I needed to get myself out of that mindset and like, okay, even if you get stuck behind her, you got to figure out a way to go around. But I didn't need to do that. It was just like, I just wanted to go out and ride, like feel like I could push in my lines and ride well. And I got to do that second moto. So it's not like, oh my God, I need to win, or I'm, mad. I don't really care. It's just more like I want to ride like I can ride and not get stuck behind someone. And that's kind of something that I've worked on a lot over the past couple of years too, is not just riding the pace of the people around me.
Yeah.
So working on that, but ended up winning the second moto, won the overall, and they
made a little money.
Yeah, they pay the women's class, which is cool. I made $120, so that was really cool.
It is really cool that the D12 does that.
Yeah.
So always makes it nice.
Mm-hmm. So the track, I mean, it was pretty tired by the end of the day, dry, dusty. They had I feel like a decent turnout though, but it is a really fun track.
Yeah.
They have some elevation there and everything, and they do their best to keep up with it. I mean, it was getting pretty late in the day by the time we got to intermission, so there's no way they could have done a full prep, or it would have
No, we would have
taken,
been there all night.
yeah, forever. So anyways, there was a lot of people that we know there because it's local to Ohio. So it's always fun too. There's a lot of people talking to us, and a lot of people that told me, and I told you a couple of them, but that just mentioned how good that they think you're riding, because you mentioned that, on the Yamaha and finally feeling good on it, like finding the comfort you had on the Honda, and just how good you're riding. Like now you have the comfort of the Honda with the power of the Yamaha combined together, and it's like, it's fun to watch you race it. So some really good battles, some really good racing from a spectator point of view that was really fun to watch.
Yeah. I felt like I was involved in it, but I still felt like, how the race went down, like thinking about it from a fan's perspective, I feel like we put on a hell of a show for everyone. So it was a good time. But yeah, I mean, like we were talking earlier, that moto, I wanted to step back and say, like, we had talked about how that moto seemed long. I did want to point out that one of our other friends, he was like, his girlfriend was like kind of timing it, and because we did the full 20 minutes, then they added 2 laps to the end of it. The moto come out to like, we did like 27 minutes. It was like almost a 30-minute moto, really.
Yeah.
So it was tough. I mean, it wasn't super hot yesterday, but for the race, but at the same time, I mean, it was challenging, and with the track being a little bit edgy and stuff, it still had moisture early in the day like that, but it was still already getting a little edgy, a little choppy in the ruts and everything. So it was definitely a challenge, but it was nice to see like I could push through that whole thing and ride good. But yeah, like I was saying, I feel like overall we put on a heck of a show, and there was some really good racing that went down.
Yeah, and I mentioned this to you too, and I think it's important to mention on here. One of the coolest things that I saw you do yesterday that I know you struggled with personally, and you've talked about it before, was when you were leading the Money Moto, and who would have passed you first?
Tony.
Tony passed you. Instead of worrying about the fact that he passed you and you lost the lead, you took it as, okay, now he's my carrot to chase. Let me latch on and go. And same thing when Chris passed you.
Yeah.
Instead of like almost like getting deterred and dropping anchor and being like, oh man, I lost it, or like then starting to ride behind you, you kept pushing forward the whole time.
Yeah.
So that's when we talk about like the mental side of things and riding your own race instead of riding behind you or, you know, worrying about what's going on around you. That's what it means, is like no matter what else is going on, you're doing you and pushing forward to the best of your ability, and then good things happen.
Yep, exactly. I mean, I am trying to like learn that better and better too, because I know I have like really good first few lap intensity and stuff, and I can like go, but it's like I don't know if I start to think about it too much or what. It's like that intensity starts to back off, and yeah, I know like later in a moto like that, like I don't have that intensity, that hard push, like I'm just gonna send it through everything. So yeah, it was nice though that I did that. I kind of told myself in the middle of the moto, I'm like, as he was like right on me, I'm like, here comes Tony, and I'm gonna try to keep him at bay. I'm like, but if he gets around me, I'm like, I'm gonna go with him. So that's what he did. He snuck around me in one of the corners, and then I was like, okay, latch on. So,
Yeah.
like you were saying, it helped out a ton instead of getting like, oh man, I lost the lead, dang it, you know.
Take your
like,
goggles
oh,
off.
who's the next guy? Or, yeah, right. Do something stupid like that. So,
I don't think we talked about it yet on a podcast, but he did that in a moto at Loretta's, and it was a bad idea. He went from like
bad.
a 12th to a 22nd because he took goggles off in
yeah,
like 2 laps.
got roosted in the face twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, like an idiot. So,
Don't take your goggles off.
no, don't do that.
Don't give up.
But so yeah, we fought all the way through, and super stoked to get on the podium. So.
Yeah. So you made a good chunk of change too, which is going to go right back into our riding because you have 3 pairs of boots, all of which are destroyed. So trying to get maybe at least 1 set of boots, if not 2. And we need some other parts and stuff. So
yeah, trying to regroup a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, moto life. Mm-hmm. Never gets cheaper.
No, it doesn't. But yeah, so it was a really fun weekend. Sometimes it's fun doing local stuff like that. It's always kind of eye-opening from like the really big events, how much differently they're run. It's just from like a standpoint of there's so many people at those big events, they have to be like, you know, on schedule all day to like more of a lax weekend at like a local track.
But we didn't start practice till like 9 o'clock.
So anyways, it just makes for a fun experience, fun weekend. So hanging out with friends and family and racing dirt bikes.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, so we'll be doing more of these, hopefully a little bit more frequently again. I feel like this time of year always kind of falls off a little bit just because we're so busy. But next, coming up, we're working on planning a camp, a clinic, a 3-day.
Yeah, another 3-day clinic/camp, whatever.
Yeah, which is, we were originally going to do at a different track, but we're working on changing the track and the date just from, I need someone that is, you know, kind of committed to what we're doing. So we'll be announcing that soon. Our sponsorship period is open for Shred. So if you're looking or been interested in like our fitness and nutrition coaching, sponsorships are open. They'll be open from now through the end of October. Yep. And in whatever sponsorship discount we offer, we're going to be offering 2 people full sponsorship, meaning free coaching. Others will get discounts, but it's good to use throughout all of 2026. So apply for that, shredmx.com, or it's on our social medias in the bios. Other than that, yeah, a lot of people have asked how long we're still going to be in Ohio for.
Yeah,
We're
some
kinda,
people are even asking if we're in Ohio right now.
we are in Ohio. We're going to be here probably through around middle of October at least, and then it depends on the weather. There's a race that I would like to do Halloween weekend-ish, 24th, 25th of October, but if it gets cold before then, sorry guys, we're bailing. We don't live in a motorhome to sit in the cold.
Yeah.
So
We're in a motorhome to be wherever we want to be.
yeah. And that's the other thing we've talked about doing too, is like starting to travel a little bit more. We've been working on figuring out the financial side of things with the business and everything, and making it, giving us the ability to travel a little bit more. And that's, all a work in progress. So as soon as we can, we'll be bouncing around. We've had a lot of requests to come out west,
Yeah.
whether it's for like the girls' ride days or just to meet, some of the people we've talked to or whatever. So eventually we're going to start pushing our way west to.
Yeah. I was going to say, we're working on figuring that out, the logistics of getting out there and stuff.
Yeah.
Not that we can't get out there, but just, just trying to figure out when we're going to go that way and where we'll be going and all those good things that we got to sort out. But yeah, we're going to slowly start venturing around more, like you said, and then venturing west some and everything. We want to, get our presence out there and see people from all over and try to get to these areas where people are wanting us to be there and everything. So, well, like you said, should be in Ohio through October, depending on weather and everything. And then, we'll head south for the winter. We'll probably be around a little bit in Ohio. We'll definitely come up for like holidays and stuff, and I'm sure we'll come up in the van. We'll probably bring dirt bikes with us, maybe bop around, ride some indoors or something like that. You never know, too. Might randomly show up at a summit race or something. Always could happen, I get a wild hair up my butt and I just, let's go.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, 2 days later, I might be in Ohio from Florida racing Summit. Who knows?
Yeah.
So
we don't always know either. So it's
Yeah.
not like we don't tell people what we're doing. Sometimes we don't know till like the night before.
I know so many people are like, "Oh, you didn't let me know you were going there," and I'm like, "I didn't know until last night at like 8:00."
And then we try to get everything ready last minute.
Yeah, and we're scrambling, and we're
Yeah. We've tried to get better at that though, at having bikes ready early in the week. That way, whatever the rest of the week brings, we're like ready to go.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
So, just figuring out what our next steps are. Probably do a little bit of more or less like local racing and stuff. Some of the areas around here and riding and whatever, having a good time until the weather says otherwise.
Yeah.
So.
And we'll be doing a couple in between, like racing. We'll be doing a couple of these podcasts as tech tips. There's a couple of topics that I want to chat about. They're going to be a little bit shorter podcasts, so stay tuned for those too. Again, trying to get a little bit more than once every 3 months.
Yeah. And we did get the new Insta360 X5 camera. So we do have that now. We have a couple videos that are out with that, or like one or something.
There's a couple. That's part of the reason, Ben.
I was going to say, I thought you did a couple. So we haven't done a ton of YouTube stuff. I still got to I want to get a chest strap and stuff for it. Get a little more point of view riding. But we did get a couple videos with that and stuff. So if you guys haven't checked it out, we do have a YouTube as well. It's under Ashley Hare 779. So go check that out. And we're trying to pick away at keep making videos. It's kind of the same way as making podcasts. We try to keep at it, but sometimes we get our weeks get a little crazy and busy, and some stuff gets left to the wayside. Like I'm sure a bunch of guys, you guys that listen to our podcast or do watch our YouTubes, we're probably hoping to see a little bit of Loretta's stuff.
I'm still working on it. I have footage.
I was going to say,
it's very spotty. But
we got a little bit of footage, not the greatest and stuff, a little bit of recaps and stuff. So, you are trying to put something together for that. So that could possibly come out in the future. But just so you guys know, we didn't get a lot of stuff from there. So that's why there hasn't been something really brought out yet from Loretta's. And probably should have done a podcast, and I'll take a little bit of blame for that. Some days Ash is like, "Hey, let's do a podcast," and I'm like, "Okay, I guess." But no, I try to be better about it, and so we're getting this one done so that you guys have some more stuff to listen to us ramble back and forth with each other. And
The people want to hear it. You got to
Yeah.
give the people what they want.
Right. Give the people what they need.
So anyways, but yeah, stay tuned. YouTube channel, podcast, those will be, now that we're kind of coming into where we'll have a little bit more time, those will be a little more frequent. I am going to release the Loretta stuff. Part of the problem was my phone was out of storage, and trying to move it from the Insta360 to my phone, like, there's always something, so I'm working on it, but we'll get there. Even this footage that we have, I think it'd be kind of cool to just kind of show a little bit of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So
Still learning the camera a little bit and all that too.
oh,
so.
Also, I think at Loretta's we were filming a recap at the very end, and the camera died.
Oh, yeah.
So it might be
That sounds
partially,
good.
yeah, it might be just end randomly, but I'll put it together and we'll keep that moving. So things happen.
Yeah, exactly. Also, if you guys ever think of something that, whether it's for a podcast or YouTube that you would love to see us talk about, love to see us doing, anything like that, please feel free to reach out on our Instagrams, social, Facebook, any of the social media, whatever it may be.
Tracks that you want us to visit and do a track review on.
If you've been curious about a track that you're not super close to, but maybe we are, or we're headed there or something like that, let us know. Drop us a comment. Let us know what you might want to see, whatever. We're always down, for new ideas and stuff. So trying to bring you guys content and everything, and, have some fun with it, and, bring some value and stuff. And
yeah, this is the life we live now.
Yeah. Give
We
you guys
love
a little glimpse of what we're doing all the time. So we appreciate all you guys that do listen, everyone that watches the YouTubes, and all you guys that are at the tracks that we see and comment that, I've seen your YouTube, or I've been listening to your podcast or whatever. Like, we really appreciate that. I wanted to put that in there. So it does not go unseen. We do appreciate our followers that we have, and if you're not following, please get on there, hit those notifications, hit that follow button for the YouTube, and I'm sure there's something like that for the podcast too.
It is. You subscribe to a podcast.
Okay, yeah. So if you haven't yet, get in there, subscribe to us. That way you don't miss out on the new episodes and stuff. So especially now, as like you were saying, middle of summer is done. It's not as crazy. A little less travel right now. So hopefully get a little more of this out, and hopefully some new videos. I really want to do some POV riding videos from some of the tracks we go to as well. So
yeah,
working on all that, guys. So yeah, keep an eye out. Some new content should be coming out.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, see ya.